Let's go and have a look. Moana Maniapoto versus Damien Grant on the PIJF, the Public Interest Journalism Fund. Jack Tame, who was on the left there, also chimes in about it. But depending on how long it takes for us to get through this first it's about 4.5 minutes of conversation. We'll see if we play his comment or not. But that's what they're talking about. They're talking about the fund, which obviously, Māori television and stuff, it's kind of what the fund is for getting voices out there that aren't heard as often as possible. So obviously Moana has some thoughts around this. So let's join the conversation.
Damien Winston lashed out at the media again in the first cabinet meeting, yelling, "Before you go, can you possibly tell the public what you had to sign up to get the money? It's called transparency." How will Seymour and Luxon work with that?
Well, he has a point. When organisations took the Public Interest Journalism Fund, there were obligations to uphold various treaty obligations, and I think, I'm no fan of Winston, but on that point, I think he's right. I don't think there should have been a public journalist interest fund, but if there was, it shouldn't have come with political strings attached. And this is the problem with state-funded media. And I've been, and they've, sorry, I shouldn't say that. Be careful what I say. But those people.
Don't you just want to know what he was going to say then? I desperately know what he was going to say then. I just want to know.
People inside some of the large private organizations that have taken this money, there is a concern. They don't believe that their independence has been compromised, but they understand and they are
because finish that thought. It hasn't.
Concerned that there is a perception that their independence has been compromised.
Where did that perception come from?
Great
because
question.
You see a whole, well, for one thing, you see a whole bunch of reporting on treaty Maori co-governance related issues, and at the bottom it says this was paid for by the Public Journalist Interest Fund. And I'm sitting there and I'm reading and I'm thinking, well, this looks like a lot of woke nonsense that I don't approve of, but fine, whatever. It's published by a private organisation, and then I see it's paid for by the Public Journalist Interest Fund. There is a requirement that they would take on people of a certain ethnic background to do.
And do you know why?
Do I know why?
Do you know why there was a requirement that they take on people of a certain ethnic background?
I don't know.
Because there was a paucity of people with certain ethnic backgrounds in certain platforms. So it was to encourage a more inclusive commentary across those platforms. Otherwise, you just get the same old.
But that's not the role of the state when it comes to the media.
You don't think the role of the state would be to encourage a more diverse commentary from different communities? What do you just like it to embed the status quo, which is usually white men of a certain kind of class?
No, I'm not going to sit there and look at the media and say, there are not enough South Koreans currently in our media.
Oh, how do we get from Koreans? They're going to go to Rhodes as well.
We need a government agency to increase the quota of South Koreans.
He has to say South Koreans because he can't say brown people because it wouldn't go down very well. So he has to pick a group that doesn't quite raise up the heckles of the racist card. Perhaps.
Can I just point out that the fund also mentions Asian communities as well?
Yep. And also
Māori, Pacific Island and Asian communities specifically mentioned in the criteria for applying for that fund.
And the other thing is New Zealand on Air has come out very clearly saying there was not a single declined proposal that had anything to do with treaty issues. No one was declined over treaty issues within the thing. They've already stated that. So that means all these fucktards who are going on about that's the appearance, it's the perception, it's the appearance. Well, this is your point to say you're either saying New Zealand Air is lying now and all the broadcasters are lying, or you have to put your case forward, and there isn't one. So you either say they're lying, or it might have the appearance of that, but it's not the case. It might have the appearance of this, but it's not the case.
What about Māori? What about Māori? Given the treaty, what about Māori?
The government should not be in the business of saying, Māori is 17% of the population.
It's not a numbers thing. It's not a numbers thing.
But it absolutely is a numbers thing.
No, it isn't a numbers thing.
Because what is the metrics by which the state looks at a private media landscape and says, you guys don't have enough people who whakapapa to Maori or Pacific Islander? That is not the role of the state.
That is a very clumsy analysis.
That is
very clumsy.
But the state shouldn't be doing it at all.
If
And the
not
moment,
the state, then who? The state is the
Nobody.
crown.
Nobody should be doing that. The media, the job of the fourth estate is to hold, part of the job of the fourth estate is to hold the crown, the state, those in power
And why
to
would
account.
you not? Why would you not think that even a Māori or Pākehā on a particular platform would not say to the state, "Hey, you're in breach of the treaty.
Bingo.
You're doing the wrong thing here, and we're going to hold you to account."
So basically, for Damien's point to be valid, he first has to negate and get rid of the treaty because there is an agreement. And the other thing is, if we didn't have intervention from government groups, government, non-NGOs, people who are willing to put minority voices in front of us, then they'd never be put in front of us at all, ever, because sometimes they don't make the commercial return that they should. And what a business does, a business's primary objective is to return a dividend to the shareholder or the owner, to make profit. So you're not going to get private businesses going, oh, here's an important voice to 4% of the population. We better put that out there. It's never going to happen, which is exactly what happens when you see middle-class white men hosting, looking after, reporting everything, until you get a group that comes along where profits aren't the reason that they're trying to get that voice heard. They're trying to get that voice heard because it deserves to be heard, and it's a representative of a portion of the community that deserve to see that face or hear that voice in their media echo chamber, Chewy.